Live from Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News starts now.
And good evening, I'm Josh Berry. We have two major developing stories this evening. A child shot and killed in Little Rock as police search for a killer. Also, a tornado reportedly touching ground and multiple warnings across the state, bringing plummeting temperatures with it. We have team coverage from all angles tonight. Our weather team has severe storms covered and will join us with the latest. But we begin with Mitch McCoy live in West Little Rock, where police tell us a 3-year-old has died in the city's 40th homicide of the year. And Mitch, we've learned tonight the toddler was in a car during the shooting.
Josh, this is absolutely heartbreaking. Police say the child was riding in the back seat of a car through Southwest Little Rock. Someone opened fire on that car. The grandma didn't realize it, according to police. The grandma was en route here to the J.C. Penney. When she parked her car, she realized that her 3-year-old grandson had been shot. That call came in around 6:30 this evening. The boy was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Little Rock Police Chief Kenton Buckner on scene here this evening, calling tonight's shooting a senseless act of violence.
I certainly have no information to say that anyone in this family has done anything to cause this young person's life, but this is about as frustrated as you can be as a public safety official or just a plain citizen.
Everyone I've talked with out here tonight, even some police officers, say they are in shock, some heartbroken, and a lot of these people out here are in disbelief that the victim to this shooting is only 3 years old. This is the 40th homicide of the year. No arrests have been made. No suspect descriptions have been released. The crime scene wrapped up about 45 minutes ago. It was right here in this parking lot at the very front of the store, Josh. And Josh, if you recall, just a couple weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, 2-year-old Ramaya was shot in the back seat of a car on South Harrison Street. Her killer has yet to be caught. These two shootings happening in less than 30 days.
And Mitch, a lot of questions surrounding exactly how the driver of this car made it across town, apparently without knowing. Is there any indication of what happened, what may have led up to this?
Police say there is zero explanation to what may have caused this violence out here tonight, or in Southwest Little Rock, I should say. They are interviewing that grandmother as I speak. We're told that Victim Services is also talking with that grandmother. The family was out here tonight completely distraught. And I will say this, a lot of the people out here didn't realize who the shooting victim was, 3 years old. So as we were going through the store, you walk through and, people are asking questions. They're with their small children. And of course, as you tell them what had happened, they fear for their own safety in a way. So a lot of questions need to be answered out here, and that might maybe give some people some closure to what sparked this shooting tonight.
And Mitch, we'll check back in with him later in the show for any updates. And for our other top story of the evening, we'll send it to meteorologist Natalie Walters, tracking dramatic shifts in the weather all throughout the day. And Natalie, things drastically changed from early this afternoon when we were seeing 70-degree weather.
Actually 1 degree away from a record high. We got up to 77 record high, 78 set back in 1924. So some near record warmth across the state, followed by some Arctic cold heading in. Quick look, we still have tornado watch in effect for far southeast Arkansas. Severe weather threat has basically diminished for the rest of the state as that Arctic air has settled in, but we'll still monitor these far southeast counties as storms continue to push their way southeastward. Notice severe storms sitting into Mississippi right now, even a couple of tornado warnings, but for us here, we're just watching this line of storms. Again, southeast Arkansas, even have reports of some wintry precipitation off to the north and the west of us, but some thunderstorms. This is moving from Morro Bay, moving its way off to the east, off to the northeast. This is where we have the severe weather again, but that's off into Mississippi at this time. I think the bigger story as of right now is the cold air settling its way in. It is 75 in Monticello. Your current reading in Fayetteville is 16. That's almost a 60 degree spread between southeast Arkansas and off to northwest Arkansas. So an incredible difference right there. 39, that's your current temperature in Little Rock. Wind chills even colder than that. Now we are talking about a winter weather advisory in place for northern Arkansas. We could see some minor snow accumulation. Have already seen some snow reported being on the roadways up in Harrison. We'll continue to monitor that. Could see maybe some slick spots on the roads across parts of northern Arkansas as we head into the late evening hours. Going to have a full forecast, detail what we can expect, and also talking about some bitterly cold wind chills as we wake up tomorrow morning. Josh?
Natalie, thanks. And Arkansas has braced for the impact of that bitter cold tonight. Fox 16's Charmaine Nero joins us live at the state capitol with how it's feeling outside. Charmaine?
Josh, last time I checked, it was about 43 degrees out here. I'm right outside of the Capitol, here along Capitol Avenue in Little Rock. Feels more like 35 degrees, about 30 degrees less than it was earlier today. I saw a lot of people out earlier with their shorts on, with short sleeve shirts. It just felt like summer weather, but now significantly different. As you can see behind me, the flags are waving in the air. The gusts are almost knocking me over, and it feels sort of like a different day. It's so chilly out here, and the wind gusts are just pushing us and keep pushing us. But tomorrow it is expected to cool down again, so we won't be seeing people out with shorts on like earlier today. A lot of people now, the streets are pretty quiet, aren't on the streets as well. Seems like people are inside, bundling up, keeping warm. Significantly colder, like I said, than earlier today, and tomorrow is expected to be the same, a bit colder than it was earlier. So if you are going to be out tomorrow, make sure you bundle up because it is extremely cold out here. So we are going to send it back to you guys in the studio, reporting live in Little Rock, Charmaine Nero.
And Charmaine, the change in clothing definitely puts it into perspective. Road crews tell us they've prepared for wild weather this weekend. According to the State Highway and Transportation Department, they have everything in place tonight if needed. Officials say they are ready for whatever Mother Nature throws their way.
We'll have crews out tonight in the central Arkansas area after 11 o'clock, patrolling in case any trouble spots arise. Probably between 11 and 2 a.m. as this moves through the state.
Now, he says the warm weather didn't fool them and they aren't taking any chances. And of course, we aren't alone as much of the country faces this cold front. From New Mexico to New England, several states are being battered by early season snow, and Saturday, multiple airlines canceled more than 2,000 flights. The snow is joined by Arctic air in places like Minneapolis and Chicago. The Windy City faces a Sunday high temperature of 2 below zero.
It is brutally cold.
I don't know if you ever could be ready.
I hate winter.
Let them tell you, it's a different kind of weather problem tonight in the south, as severe thunderstorms rolled through all of this area, bringing with it hail, heavy rains, and even tornadoes, as we've seen here in the state. And be sure to stick with Fox 16 throughout the night. We'll bring you live updates both on the air, online, and on our app and social media. We'll have much more right after the break.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 meteorologist Natalie Walters.
All right, good evening, everyone. Talking about severe storms that rolled their way through, Arctic air talking over, and the possibility of some winter weather across the state. Actually already seeing some fall to the ground in northwest Arkansas. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we did see happen earlier on into the evening hours. We were on air with the Arkansas Storm Team. A funnel cloud was reported in Manning. We did see a tornado reported to the north of Grapevine in Grant County. Also saw some wind damage just to the northwest of Pine Bluff as well with these storms as they rolled their way through. Now there still is a brief tornado concern into far southeast Arkansas as these storms continue to race southeastward ahead of this cold front that's moving its way through. Let's zoom in to where we do have some of those showers. Some thunderstorms now moving through Bradley County, heading its way into Ashley and Drew County. Nothing severe at this time. Severe weather now off into parts of Mississippi and into Tennessee as these storms continue to push their way eastward. Now some precipitation on the backside of this is transitioning into some wintry precipitation. Up in Harrison, saw a picture where the ground was completely covered in, at least the roadways completely covered with some wintry weather. That's only expected off to the north and the west. I'm going to get into that Off to the southeast, still a tornado watch in place until 3 a.m. for far southeast Arkansas. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped that a little bit earlier, but a bigger story is that cold air heading in. So check out these temperatures. 75 Monticello, 16, that's your temperature in Fayetteville, 39 in Little Rock. Huge difference across the state as that Arctic air continues to slide in. We got to a near record high today of 77. And we're already in the 30s. Winter weather advisories in place for northern Arkansas, as we could see some minor snowfall accumulations, maybe a little bit of a sleet, a little ice off into northeast Arkansas. But again, the bigger story, I think, is going to be the bitterly cold wind chills expected across the state. Now, it's cold and it's windy outside in Little Rock. 39 is your temperature. It feels like 28 with your northerly wind, 23 miles per hour. Got some strong winds out there. With those winds, again, coming from the northwest right now at about 15 to 25 miles per hour, 23 mile per hour winds in Little Rock, 25 mile per hour in Stuttgart. Now check out Fayetteville, 21 mile per hour winds. This is your wind chill, -1. That's what it feels like in Fayetteville. And we're talking below zero wind chills as we wake up tomorrow morning across parts of the state. And for that reason, we have a wind chill advisory in place for northwest Arkansas, as those wind chills could possibly be below zero for far north central and northwest Arkansas. So add the layers. If you're heading out to church tomorrow morning, you're going to need them, as the cold is going to be with us. Now, showers and storms moving eastward. Backside of this, we are seeing some wintry precipitation. Not a whole lot of it is necessarily reaching the ground at this time, but we are getting maybe some ice pellets falling to the ground in northwest Arkansas, maybe some light snow in far northwest Arkansas too. Already seeing some again stick to those roadways off into Harrison. This falling apart as it continues to move northeastward. Again, this main storm system kind of heading off to the north and the east. So we'll monitor that as we head into the rest of the overnight hours. Here's a look at what we're expecting. As I mentioned, that kind of moves its way off to the north and the east. Possibly a quick transition to maybe some ice pellets. Maybe some freezing drizzle here in central Arkansas, minor accumulations possible, and then that heads its way off to the east. And we'll look at just cold, windy conditions across the state for tomorrow. The cold air will certainly be with us as we head into tomorrow afternoon and into the start of the work week. Expect that Arctic air to take over. As far as that snowfall potential that we've been talking about, less than an inch possible off to the northwest, a trace for Russellville Mountain View with just a wintry mix in southeast Arkansas and into eastern Arkansas, I should say. So your extended forecast shows those temperatures 30s today, 35 tomorrow, and then gradually get into the 50s by next week. All right, that's a look at your forecast. Stick with us. We'll have much more. Fox 16 News at 9.
You're watching Fox 16 News, covering Hot Springs, Bryant, Little Rock, and all of central Arkansas.
Natalie, this Arctic blast continues to move through the state, and it's wild to see the drastic change in temperatures. You pointed it out,
right.
The difference in southeast Arkansas compared to northwest Arkansas.
Right. Well, even in the Little Rock earlier today, we had a near record high to beat 78, and we got to 77, and that was set back in 1924. So a long-standing record, got pretty close to beating that. And now we're talking about wind chills across the state. It feels like 0 in Fayetteville. At last check, it was actually -1. Feeling like 28 here in Little Rock. 75 right now is that wind chill in Monticello, and we're going to continue to see the chilly conditions across the state as we do head into the rest of this evening. As far as what's going on with those wind chill advisories, here's a look at possibly what it could feel like as you wake up tomorrow morning, heading out to church in Little Rock. 8 is that feels like temperature possible. -4 Mountain Home, -11 in Harrison, 12 below zero in Fayetteville. So some bitterly cold wind chills. That's why there is a wind chill advisory in place. Make sure that you're adding the layers. Keep those exposed areas covered, your hands, your ears. Make sure you're all bundled up, keeping yourself nice, warm, and cozy as that Arctic air certainly making its impact as we head into your day tomorrow. Now, I did talk about the potential for some winter weather across the state. We're already seeing some light reports in northwest Arkansas, getting reports of actually things starting to cover the roadways. The thing is that this is kind of shifting northward, and we're not going to see a whole lot of it here in central Arkansas. We'll certainly monitor for it, but as far as the wintry precipitation expected, overall not going to get a whole lot of it here in central Arkansas. as that system moves off to the north and the east. One last look at what we're expecting. Again, this heads off to the north and the east, possibly some freezing drizzle before things kind of clear their way out of the area as we head into the overnight hours and just a cold, windy day tomorrow. Josh?
All right, Natalie, thanks. And back to our top story of the evening, where Little Rock police say a 3-year-old has been shot and killed. This is marking the 40th homicide in the city of Little Rock so far this year. Mitch McCoy joins us live from the scene in West Little Rock with the latest. Mitch.
Yeah, Josh, things have wrapped up here. Crime scene detectives, including those homicide detectives, have taken the car where the child was found to a secure area so they can examine it a little bit more carefully. We are told the shooting happened in southwest Little Rock, and somehow, some way, the grandmother of the 3-year-old made her way here to the JCPenney, and when she went to the back seat, she found that her grandson had been shot. That 3-year-old was rushed to the hospital, where we are told that he was pronounced dead, and there is a search now on for the suspects, the people responsible for firing that gun. No descriptions have been released. Little Rock police say that they are now starting to talk with family members to try and figure out what happened. Reporting live in Little Rock, Mitch McCoy, Fox 16 News.
And Mitch, we know that Little Rock police in these situations will be limited in what information they're releasing, but having been out there and seen the vehicle involved in this crime, is there any indication that it may have been involved in something that would have led to something like this?
You know, the car looks like a normal car that anybody could drive. I will say and point this out. When we were looking at the trunk of that car, I could see a crime scene technician shine her flashlight on what appeared to be a bullet hole in the trunk. So it's unclear how many times that car was hit. I only noticed one, but that is exactly why those crime scene techs got a tow truck and brought that vehicle in question to a secure area so they can examine it more carefully and try and get a little bit more detail.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was wondering out there, Mitch. Thanks so much, and we'll continue to keep you updated right here on the air and online at fox16.com. We'll be right back after this. It has been a full day in news, sports, and weather. Head over to fox16.com for all the latest. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 9. Have a